session is centered on the very dynamic and relevant topic, career opportunities in artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. Specific applications of AI include expert systems, natural language processing, speech recognition, and machine vision. AI systems work on investing large amounts of label training data, analyzing that data, and to make future predictions about future states. Sounds too technical, right? I know. Now, you all might be having a lot of different specific questions like, how does AI work? Why it is so important? Why is everyone talking about AI? What are its applications? How will this impact me in my future? What are the career prospects and what not? So don't worry, to solve all your queries and questions and to tell you more about career opportunities in artificial intelligence, let me introduce to you Dr. Jyoti Ahluwalia ma'am. So Dr. Jyoti Ahluwalia ma'am is a consultant and independent women board member of an NBFC, an academician with 20 years of work experience, a PhD in commerce, and also a CFA. She is also an associate professor of data analytics and machine learning, and also at the same time a mentor at the University of Texas. She has also worked as a research and actuarial analyst, and she has numerous academic publications under her name. A versatile persona with numerous achievements under her name, the list of her recognitions is so magnanimous that if I mention each one of them, it would take me hours to do so, and I would be grasping for my breath even more. So without wasting any more time and any more delays, we welcome you, ma'am, to enlighten us with your deep insights.
Thank you very much for such an elaborate introduction. I'm very happy to join today here, and welcome to all the students and all the faculty members for organizing this and for inviting me here. Let's begin our discussion. So I'd like to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah. So today we've gathered here to discuss about career opportunities in artificial intelligence. And I'm Dr. Jyoti Ahluwalia, and I am working as an associate professor here at Shashant University in Gurgaon. So I've made a small presentation, and I'm not so much aware of the knowledge about AI of the audience today. So you'll have to bear with me if I take more time. So what the agenda today is, what is artificial intelligence and the terms associated with it? What are the applications, use cases of AI in our lives? And how does this development impact us in terms of jobs and roles and skills required? Right? So let's start by understanding what do we mean by AI. So let's define some AI terms. So when we say the term artificial intelligence, what is the vision that comes to your mind? Would anybody want to share? What is the vision that comes to your mind? You'll have to speak up maybe because I can't see the chat box. My screen is full screen.
Yes, students, come up.
What vision do you see? All right.
So what comes to your mind when you
think of
artificial
AI? Right. So sometimes when we think of AI, the super intelligent human robot Sophia may come to our mind. Sophia even came to India, and she went to the Republic TV channel, and she was draped in sari, and we did an aarti of hers. So, artificial intelligence might mean Sophia to some. Artificial intelligence might also mean when we say that a picture of the self-driving car can come in our mind, that this vision can come up. So self-driving car, a lot of machine learning and AI is happening there. There's vision, computer vision, by which the machine understands what's ahead of it. There is prediction power happening because the machine has to understand when to stop, when to drive. So a prediction is happening. It is a robotic process also, because when it decides, then it has to stop or decrease its speed or increase its speeds, then it does a robotic process and implements that. So a lot of it is happening here, and a very, very fascinating application of machine learning. We might also think of AlphaGo. AlphaGo is a game, a Chinese game, and Google's there's a company called DeepMind, now owned by Google and Alphabet, that devised and beat the AlphaGo champion. So this is the vision that might come to our mind. But to understand AI better, we might want to understand what is the stage of AI we are in. So in AI, we are actually dividing it under 3 stages. First is the narrow AI stage. The second is the general AI stage, and the third is the super AI stage. So in the narrow AI stage, it is dedicated to assist with or take over specific tasks only. Whereas in a general AI, it takes the knowledge from one domain and transfers it to the other domain, just like human beings. And in super AI, machines are of the order of magnitude which is smarter than humans. So let's understand narrow AI better. When I say narrow AI, and currently we are in the narrow or the weak AI stage. When we say narrow AI, an example would be Siri by Apple, Alexa by Amazon, Cortana by Microsoft, and all the applications of machine learning that we see now. For example, IBM's Watson, image and facial recognition softwares, disease mapping and prediction tools, manufacturing and drone robots, email spam filters, social media monitoring tools, entertainment or marketing content recommendations, self-driving cars, you being watched and listened and purchase behavior monitored. All these are aspects of narrow AI, and we are still in the age of narrow AI. What is general or strong AI? Like we mentioned, it is on par with human capacity, which applies intelligence. Just like humans, we apply intelligence and we are able to take our intelligence from one aspect of our work to the other aspect of our work. Even if I have not seen something earlier, if it is presented before me, I apply my intelligence and try to solve, and we are creative. Human beings are creative, but machines have not reached that capability. They are not as intelligent as human beings so far, and it will still take time for us to reach there. And we know none of the scientists have actually achieved any strong AI as of now. The third aspect is artificial super intelligence, and it is very, very far away when machines will be more intelligent than humans. So Andrew Ng, I've bought a quote from Andrew Ng. Andrew Ng is one of the pioneers of AI. He's done a lot of work, he's still doing, and he's one of the co-founders of Coursera. If you've heard about Coursera, it is a MOOC, massive online open course platform. And he says that I worry about super AI in the same way that I worry about overpopulation on Mars. So which means it's very, very far away. So these were the 3 categories of AI. Now, what is the relationship between AI, machine learning, and other terms like deep learning? When we say AI, it's a broad concept. It's a conceptual understanding. And the conceptual understanding is that we want to make machines mimic human behavior. We want them to be as smart as human beings. But how do we make them as smart as human beings? There is certain things that we want them to do, and that application part is the machine learning part. So AI is the concept part. It doesn't do anything. It's a concept. It's a conceptual construct. Just like saying, electricity. But electricity is not doing anything. It's the application part. Look, so electricity comes to the fan and the fan runs. So the application part or the fan running part is the machine learning part. So the applied part. So machine learning is a subset of AI which uses statistical methods to enable machines to improve with experience. So what it does, machine learning means machine is learning. I'm providing it more data and an algorithm to think, and the way it thinks, that it is able to learn from that data. Right? So it's an application of AI. So AI is a very, very broad term. Apart from machine learning, we also have vision, computer vision, we also have natural language processing as part of it. So, and the fields are increasing. So when I say machine learning becomes more appropriate for me to use, because machine learning is the applications that are getting implemented in companies and in our lives. Now, what is deep learning? Deep learning is a special kind of machine learning in which we use a special type of algorithm that has drawn its inspiration by the way our mind works, by neural network phenomenon. So we build artificial neural paths and build mathematical equations according to that. So at this stage, I will also like to say that machine learning is nothing, or AI is nothing but mathematical equations happening at the end. It's not magic that's happening. Right. So I'll request the students to post their questions in the chat box, and we'll address the questions at the end of the session. Some of the questions might get answers during the presentation itself. So what is the difference between machine learning and traditional learning? I'll give you a small example. In traditional learning, if I provide the data, I have to program it, and the computer takes both the program and the data and gives me an output. So for example, if I say x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2, and I say z is equal to x plus y, it will tell me the output of z as 4. If I change the values of x and y, it will tell me the output of z as an addition of x and y, because I've programmed it that z is equal to x plus y. Whereas in machine learning, we give the data, that is, we give x and we give y, and we also give z. So, and we say that z is equal to 4 when x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 2. We are not programming that x plus y is equal to z. We are telling only that x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2, and z is equal to 4. And the algorithm figures out that z is actually the addition of x and y. That algorithm figures out, and that is why we call it learning. How does the algorithm figure out? Because we programmed, yes, algorithm is also a program. We have programmed it to understand the relationship between x and y given z. So suppose z is say 8. So it will know that x is 2, y is 3, so 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So the relationship between x and y is a to the power of relationship, not an addition relationship of x and y. So what is happening in machine learning is the computer is finding out the relationship between x and y. So relationship can be anything. I am not defining the relationship. So that is the difference. And that is why we say that machine is learning. It is finding out on its own. I've also given it the value of z. I've said z is 8. So this was just a small example to show you the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. Then there are various types of machine learning, but I've brought here only two. So there is supervised and unsupervised, which are the most popular. There is also reinforcement and semi-supervised, and a whole host of other types of machine learning. I've brought here only two, supervised and unsupervised. What is the difference between supervised and unsupervised is in supervised, we have the label of the data, which means that if I have some pictures, I am also telling the computer or my algorithm that this is a picture of a cat and this is a picture of a dog. I'm labeling the picture. Whereas in unsupervised, I'm not telling the computer or the algorithm that this is a cat or a dog. So what it does in unsupervised is it segregates it on its own and says there are two types of or two categories of pictures. So unsupervised is mostly used for segmenting, customer segmentation, or targeting for marketing or recommendation engines. And supervised, where the computer knows that this is a picture of a cat, or this is a picture of a dog, or this is the kind of people that do fraud, these are the kind of people that do not do fraud. They are labeled, and then I give more a new person's characteristics or a new picture to the algorithm and ask whether this is the picture of a cat, or whether this is a picture of a dog, or whether the person will do fraud or not. So classification, whether the image is image recognition, whether the image is a cat or a dog, or if I go to office, once the computer knows that this is the face of Jyoti, then every day when I come and it does my face recognition while I come to office, then it classifies that this Jyoti came at this time, this is Jyoti's face, right? So it's supervised. So image recognition, fraud detection, all these come under supervised, or forecasting or prediction, these come under supervised learning. And unsupervised learning would be customer segmentation. So why are we so enthusiastic about machine learning at this time? Why not 10 years back? there are a few reasons for it. So one of the main reasons is that we now have very, very huge computing power. The computing power in your phone is maybe 1,000 times more powerful than the computers of say 20 years ago. So with this and the hardware and the software that we have now is very, very advanced compared to just a few years ago, and it's increasing as we speak. Then there is massive amount of data availability, you know that, because there is sensors, there is digital content, we are now online all the time. So it's massively improving, I would say, not even at exponential rates, but at logarithmic rates it is improving. And then of course we have the statistical, mathematical and algorithmic logic. But statistical and algorithmic logic was already there, a lot of it, although we are making a lot of progress now, but a lot of it was already there, but we did not have the data and we did not have so much computing power. So with these things coming into place, an ecosystem is getting made for us to understand and use machine learning and data analytics and deep learning. An example of ecosystem would be like Uber, a company like Uber. When would a company like Uber exist? When there is an app system, when there is a mobile phone system, when there is an internet system, when there is a online payment system. So all these things, and then there is Google Map. So all these things Uber is utilizing to become Uber the way it is handling things just now. If any of these, if suppose Google Maps was not present in our ecosystem, then a company like Uber would not have been able to function. And that is why you need an ecosystem. So today it is the right ecosystem. In the last 4 to 5 years, the ecosystem for machine learning and data analytics has really come into place, and that's why we are talking about it, and that's why it's trending. So we see that, how the data, total cumulative global data generated has increased over the years. And now companies are coming, going up the curve of data analytics, from business intelligence to analytics and predictive modeling to data science to machine learning, and now to AI, even further than machine learning, to other applications of AI and deep learning. So let's see some applications of AI in business so that it becomes easier for you to understand what are the kind of skills you will require and what kind of businesses or companies you can work for. So AI and data science applications are everywhere now, whether it is finance, healthcare, communications, government, consumer products, and most of the companies. So for example, we have AI and its business applications in the form of Siri and Alexa, social media services, online customer support, online fraud detection, product recommendations, refining search engine results, fighting web spam, automatic translations, video surveillance, predicting music choices, drug discovery. Corona is a very, very big example in which we have done drug discovery using AI and ML, and machine and disease diagnosis, face recognition, in the pricing of insurance product, and of course self-driving cars. And this is not an exhaustive list, this is not a comprehensive list. There's so many more applications of AI that is happening. So you go to Amazon, you shop, there is a recommendation system, it is driven by machine learning. You go to Netflix, you watch some series, and there is more recommended to you. Again, the recommendation is powered by machine learning. In fact, I'd like to tell you that Netflix is not just an entertainment platform, but it is a data-driven technology company. Personally, I think I would recommend, I've put the sector of Netflix not as an entertainment company, but as a technology company. With the kind of work they're doing, you can go to Netflix research website and see the amount of work that is happening in Netflix research, and how they've become such an international platform and beating all odds, just like Amazon and Google. So the other applications would be marketing segmentation, customer marketing, market-based analytics. Predictive analytics can be used to tell you which customers will be loyal, which machines would need repairs, which candidates should be selected for employment, which product should be sold and will be profitable, which company's employee will leave the company, can we stop the employee, how can we stop the employee, which disease is going to be fatal, which drug will be more effective for a particular disease or for a particular patient. So all these are questions that are being used, that are being answered using data and predictive power of machine learning. Let's just also look at computer vision, and its business applications. So in computer vision we have image recognition, facial recognition, right? And it's used in offices and home surveillance system. And not just in computer vision it's progressing again very, very fast. So now the picture you can differentiate not just the dog but its category also. And not just that, you can also, the machine will also tell you that there is grass on which the dog is sitting, and maybe the color of the dog or the skin of the dog or any other thing happening around it, because we've collected huge amounts of data, and we have categorized that data. And it's also used for moving object recognition. And if you see, it's not just recognizing people, but it's also recognizing what they're doing. So earlier, this is a popular image of Obama. He steps on the weighing machine. So stepping on a scale adds weight and ups the reading. So the picture cannot read, only human level understanding can read. But now, machine learning applications are going even higher and telling us that. So this is an example again. There's a woman who's doing skiing. So it's not just saying that this is a lady. It can also figure out that the lady is a lady in pink dress is skiing, and not just that, but a man is standing there. There's a clear blue sky at a ski resort. A snowy hill is in front of the pine trees. There are several pine trees, a group of people getting ready to ski. So all these aspects of the picture can be read by the computer vision and machine learning systems. So this all data, we have a cloud of information from where pictures are tagged. So the entire universe of images is helping the machine learning and the computer vision aspects to figure out what's happening in this picture. So the future of vision would be intelligence. Also, we have natural language processing, which is a field of artificial intelligence that gives the machines the ability to read, understand and derive meaning from the human language. So Siri would be an example. When you go to Google and you type some word and it gives you prompts to complete the sentence or to complete what you're trying to search, that is an example of natural language processing, which we do every day. And you'll be surprised to know that Google has a whole group of people doing just that, doing just work on how to improve our research engine so that we have better research results when we use Google's search. So other applications of NLP would be, like I mentioned, Alexa and Siri, the prediction of diseases based on natural language processing, or sentiment analysis also comes under natural language processing. Cognitive assistance, in companies like law firms and research firms, huge amounts of data, and they want to find out about a certain case study or case or certain court prediction that had happened. They can use cognitive assistance in the form of natural language processing. Classification of emails, stopping spams, and identifying false news across the internet. So all these are systems which are using natural language processing. So let's define some recent trends. We can see that 2020 and also 21 has been very volatile and very uncertain for certain industries like tourism, like hotel industry. Yet data science experience has been significant, and it has actually grown at an average rate of 50% across all segments, whether it's healthcare, telecommunication, media or banking or education, data analytics. And we can see that the accuracy of the algorithm has also increased, and it has actually surpassed human behavior. So suppose let's take computer vision. So if we can identify a person's face 95% of the time, then now computers can identify them 98 to 99% of the time accurately. So, and also India, you will be happy to know that the relative skill penetration by country in India is one of the highest, and also adoption of AI and technologies across the industries has been very, very huge. Almost all the industries have crossed 40 to 50% mark of usage, and not just industries but also all the aspects of AI and ML that we've talked about, like deep learning and NLP. Most of them have penetrated and are now being used by all the industries. So again, I bought this recent example of Amazon Go. It's a automated departmental store. They've opened around 65 branches in America. It will be coming soon near your house, very soon. So there is nobody there to help you. It has no human interaction. Everything is done online. Very, very good example of application of machine learning. Then you will soon be seeing, or maybe you already know about virtual reality, and virtual reality will be now present in our homes. If we want to buy furniture, we can use augmented reality and see how it fits our drawing rooms and our houses before we do any purchase. This is just one of the examples. So now that we've seen all these examples, what are the kind of roles and jobs and skills that we need to have to work in AI? Because we've gathered here to understand what are the career options in AI. So when we think about jobs in AI, certain questions come to our mind, that what prior qualifications do we need to have in AI and ML course? Maybe do we need to have any background and knowledge before we enter this field? Do we need to have coding skills? And if you don't know much maths, how should I study AI and ML? And I don't understand what is an algorithm. Can I understand AI and ML? So these are the questions that come to our mind when we are wanting to go in this data analytics fields. So I would like to tell you that some amount of computer awareness, some amount of your brain's application, your skills and your traits as a person, this is what you require for a job to be successful. So there are various roles in AI ML, not just roles that require a computer science degree, but there are roles which require a business awareness. So when you go in this field, there are huge amounts of opportunities available. So that, you could be a big data engineer or a data scientist, a BI business intelligence developer, or a research scientist, a machine learning engineer, and these might be more related to maths and science. But there are other roles like business analyst, a data analyst, product manager, data engineer, consultants. These roles require more of business and domain expertise, because once a product is made, once a technology is made to use, it has to go to the market, and we require business analysts and product managers and other consultants to put them to use, to take them to the consumers. So there is a whole lot of job offers that are available in this sector. So if you go to Naukri.com or other websites and type in and look at the job roles, you'll see a whole lot of job roles available as a lead scientist, as a data scientist, as a business analyst, as a data engineer, as a manager, senior analyst. A whole lot of jobs are available. So the main skills that I would say are required would be domain specific skills, soft skills and analytical skills. So domain specific skills would be your business understanding and your process knowledge. So if you've studied HR or you've studied marketing, or if you've studied a business, then you should be aware of how it runs, how it functions. And then in analytical thinking, you should have a structured thinking and problem solving approach. Some awareness of mathematics and statistics. Even if you've not studied mathematics in the graduation, it does not matter. If you've studied, it's good. If you've not studied, it can be taught while doing the course, whatever is required for you to know. And like I mentioned, there are areas in which you do not require to code, you do not require to make products, but you require to sell products, and like in the role of a product manager. So in the communication part also is very, very important, because once you make a product, once you do some research, you need to communicate it to your society, to your company, to your fellow beings, to society at large. So communication, curiosity, I would say curiosity of what is happening and how it happens is a very, very important skill. And influencing and managing stakeholders and people perseverance. So we know that all these are management skills that we acquire when we do graduation and post-graduation. So these are the skills I would say that are required for going in the data science fields. So data scientists are in demand. These are the advantages. The supply of data scientists cannot keep up with the growing demand because of its application in our society now, because of the growth that is happening. It's a well-paid jobs. And if it fits your skill set, interest and aspiration, data science can be a very lucrative career path. And the data science labor market is very resilient. You can see that even in COVID times it did not decrease. Then it's very impactful. There's a lot of that's happening, meaningful work that is happening in AI and robotics and data science, and you will be, as part of that industry, you will be able to make your contributions. And you can work from anywhere, as companies are doing now. You will see when you go to sites for jobs, you will see that there is a different category of remote candidates that has come in. So you can, living in India, you can work for a US company, and so it's you can work from anywhere. The concerns for jobs, data science job market would be that it's an ambiguous path. When I say an ambiguous path, that there's an overlap in the roles. Sometimes the roles in your company are not defined, but that's all right. As you start working, you start learning, and you are able to fulfill that roles. They might not be defined, but you go and you define them there. So, and that's how the industry is going forward. And there is a lot to learn. So many times there are such huge changes happening all the time, and it becomes complex, but you have to keep learning. So you will have a wealth of knowledge to absorb, and you will be fascinating. So if I said, like, if you have curiosity and you want to learn constantly, then this is the field. And data science is always changing and evolving. So you have to have a strong understanding of governance and best practices to handle data responsibly and securely. The data privacy issues, the ethics issues, that is also now a part of data science. So I would say that you cannot now imagine any company that is not using AI and ML, whether you work as a data scientist, or you work as a product manager, or you work as a strategist. You need to know what is data science, how it is applied, how it is affecting your products, how are you going to bring it to the customers, and how does it apply to your life. So concluding, I would say that AI and ML practitioners have a better role in companies, or they have those career prospects for themselves, and it's going to so a formal education in this field helps you to go forward in the industry and to gauge your value. And AI ML is going to disrupt a lot of industries. A lot of industries have already been disrupted. You know that taxis, hotels, content, taxis by Uber, hotels by Airbnb, content by companies like Byju's, and banking industry is all disrupted because of blockchain and digital banking and fintech. So with AI and ML expertise and knowledge, you will be poised to take better career options. So where do you start? This might be a question. So I would say that there are 2-3 steps that can be taken. First is that you look for a course that introduces you to AI and ML, such as MBA in data analytics and machine learning, MBA in fintech, MBA in digital technology, so that you should be doing a course that aligns your core area of study. So for example, you want to do marketing, HR and finance. Along with that, you have some awareness of data analytics and machine learning. If you don't want to go in the core, if you want to go in the core, then you should take courses which are related to data analytics or machine learning only, or fintech only. And then not just doing a formal course, but you should do additional certifications along with your current UG and PG degrees, so that you know what's happening. It's a self-learning. A lot of component of this new area is self-learning, and not just self-learning at any stage, self-learning always. You have to be a lifelong learner. And the third step, I would say, is when you do some learning, you showcase it to the world on your LinkedIn profile, on your website, on your social media, and your digital media presence. So these are the few steps that you can do, and this is the best time to join data science and analytics, because there is democratization of tools, there is increase in analytics programs that are available. A lot of algorithms are being written that are making data science easy. The democratization tools are also making it easy for people to learn and use data science, and there is a shortage of talent. And because of the use of cloud and other resources becoming so easy to use data, so it's very much required that you understand what it is and join the workforce, because there's so many job opportunities available. So that's it from my part. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them.
There are a number of questions in chat box. They have been, sharing in chat box only.
Right.
Gitika, we can proceed further.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ashish, you can take up the questions.
Though some of the questions have already been answered through your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So if anybody amongst us has any doubts or queries, you may put them up in the chat box and I'll read them out for you, ma'am.
I see a question here. As we are of commerce background, how is AI of use to us? How can AI
Then you can stop presenting.
Yes, yeah. Yes, so I can answer this question. How
Yes,
can
ma'am.
Please carry on. You can read it out for her, or then it will be, audible to us. We will concentrate on that question. We
Yes,
may not
ma'am,
be.
read out.
Question is being answered by her, so you read it out and then she answers.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, Nitra is asking, as we are of commerce background, how is AI of use to us? How can AI be used in the field of commerce and finance in future?
Right. Like you saw in the presentation that AI is a broad concept. It's the machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing. That's the application part, and along with it, IoT and cloud. So finance cannot function without technology now. Fintech is taking over the banks. So you need to know what is data analytics, how is it happening, and how is going to impact. So commerce and finance, we saw all the applications. All these applications are applications in the commerce field, because when an application is come, when they do research in Netflix, they have to bring it to me. I have to use it as a consumer, and that's where the commerce part comes. So which consumer are watching what kind of pictures do they want to see, what kind of programs that they want to see, all that is commerce. And commerce tells the scientist what kind of research to do, right? And how that once research is done, how that can be brought to the customer, what is the most profitable product to sell, how should the product be priced, whom to recruit, like an HR application, whom to recruit, whom not to recruit, which employee is going to leave the company, can we stop him? So there is application of AI and ML in all fields, whether it is commerce or finance or HR.
May I add to that? We saw that in income tax case also, they are reforming their. They have reformed their website, and they have come up with a new version, and they need to work together, like people who have specialized knowledge of income tax and people who are experts in AI and technology part of it.
Kashish, you need
So, if they don't work in tandem, then things are not going to work. So, plethora of scope is there for commerce students also. Likewise, in MCA website also, version 3.0 has been recently made applicable. There, the companies which fail to comply with the time-bound compliance things, like they have to file certain reports within particular period of time, and they fail to do that, then their artificial intelligence automatically functions, and the email is sent to the non-compliant company. So what are the legal requirements that you people are going to tell them if you don't belong to technology field? But when compliance calendar is in your hands, you can interpret it better in a better way and share it with them.
Right.
So these are complementary to each other, not against each other. Like all the fields need to work together.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely, you're right. And see the UPI, transfer of money. Every month India has the best money transfer architecture in the world, and we have such a huge population, but we are able to do it so smoothly because of the architecture RBI has built in. So there's a huge application of AI in the field of finance that's happening, and ma'am's examples also tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, another question comes from Khushi Singh. It says, how can we prevent current AI technology from being abused by human beings?
Right. And there are other questions like how to prevent AI errors, what to do about the unintended consequences of AI.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So all these are questions related to AI and human rights and AI and ethics. A lot of work is happening, and each company like Google and Microsoft and AWS, they are coming up with ways to prevent AI being misused and to take away the bias, because there have been some examples in which the application of machine learning tools have led to biases. So for example, machine learning systems in America, they were not able to understand or recognize the face of a black woman, and they stopped her from entering her office or stopped her from entering a lot of places. Why? Because the data that was used to train that model did not have data about black women or black men. It was trained, it was modeled, the data that was used was only of white men and white women, right? So there was a problem, and then so a bias, this kind of bias arose. And also, when recruiting, if AI is used for recruiting human resource people, there's a lot of bias that comes here. A lot of times, women are not getting preferred over men because there is more data about men available so far. Women are coming in a new field, suppose, and there's no data available for women in that field, though the system is not choosing women, it is preferred and choosing men over women because the data is biased. So this kind of bias is coming up. We are looking at it. The industry is very, very active because they do not want to stop the progress of machine learning and AI applications. So what they're doing is they're finding out ethical procedures, and they're putting out procedures in the way the machine learning system is made. So for example, if there is no data available of a black woman, then they are adding the data. They're making sure that at the data stage there is enough representation. In statistics we understand now that the sample should be representative.
Yes,
in the same way, we are making sure that the data should be representative and that we are using it for legal means. We are not using it for any harming of any human rights. So you're absolutely right with the question. We need to be aware there are problems that are coming up, and we are trying to find solutions along with it.
Yes, ma'am. It is hoped that we sort these out things in future as well.
Yes.
Ma'am, I personally have this question: that how did you begin your career, and were there any difficulties you specifically faced?
Right. To tell you the truth, when I joined a company called Milliman, it's a MNC here in Gurgaon in 2007, and that MNC was into health insurance. It's an actuarial firm, so I was
Okay.
doing my actuarial papers, if you know about actuaries. So,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. So what happened is that there we did not have any data. Okay, Indian health insurance market was not developed. The hospitals were not managing data. They were not collecting data. They were not saving data. So my manager worked with IRDA for 5 years just to make the industry standards for collection of data. And even if the one hospital was collecting data in one form, other hospital was collecting data in another form. So when we were collating
Oh.
it was really difficult. So we had to have industry standards. So I am now 20 years into my career. So 8 to 9 years I've worked in the private sector. Then from that company in 2007, I got interested in data. There I learned the R language. I learned a bit of Python, and from there my data journey started. I did some actuarial courses, and I was teaching. So I started teaching data analytics courses. So for the last 7 to 8 years, I'm teaching data analytics. I'm also teaching to Texas University. So I am a constant learner. I want to learn, and I want to teach. So if you have to teach, you have to learn. So and like I mentioned, I'm very curious, and I also have a mathematical bent of mind, in the sense that I appreciate mathematics. I'm not a mathematician. I didn't do my graduation in mathematics. I didn't do my graduation in computer science. I'm a commerce student, but I have interest there, and I keep learning, and I think that's the way to go. And I still have a lot of learning to do. There's a lot of things I don't understand. My Python needs more improvement than I'm currently doing. I mean, it's a very exciting path, data science.
That's so great of you, ma'am. Ma'am, another question comes from Saval Gupta. According to Maury's law, the processing power of microchip doubles every year. So how will this affect the development of artificial intelligence?
Of course, like we mentioned that, computing power, we said there are three things that are happening. One is the availability
Yes,
of
ma'am.
data, because digital footprint we are leaving. The other is computing power. The third is my statistical, mathematical and other algorithmic features that I have. So computing power is one of the very, very important aspects, because if I have data and I don't know how to store it, I don't know how to process it, I can't do any machine learning. With the process and improvement in computing power, my capability, the machines, like I showed in one of the slides, that they are becoming more accurate than even a human being in certain aspects, right? The accuracy is increasing. So that is increasing because we have computing power to add more data. So as the computing power increases, they will be able to have more better systems and with more accuracy and handle more data. But there's another technology that is coming up, and that is quantum computers. So that is also a thing to look for, and we'll see that India is becoming an innovation hub for fintech, for blockchain, for machine learning, for quantum computers. So there are a lot of things happening in these fronts.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, would you recommend a few books for us, like for beginners, for like us?
I have a few books. I can send the email links to those books. I can forward those books to you. But they're not, so some of them are not easy to understand because of some mathematical content. But what I'll do is I'll have a look and forward some books to you.
Thank you, ma'am. That will be great. Okay, as a student, what course, degree, or diploma should we pursue to kickstart our career in AI? Like, to pursue a career in AI, should we consider a foreign degree or rely on an Indian university?
If you look around, a lot of Indian universities, especially in the last 2 years, have come up with a lot of courses. So you can, because you have to see how much expensive is foreign education for you as a person, whether
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
afford it or not. I would say a lot of research, a lot of good teaching is happening in India itself. And with the corona, online classes, there's online opportunities available. And now industry and teaching and these courses understand that you need not come to the class. So a lot of online weekend courses are also available. You can do it with your jobs if you don't want to study further. If you want to study further, there are a lot of opportunities available. Like in our university, Sushant University itself, now we have MBA in data analytics, we have BCA in data analytics, we have MCA in data analytics, we have MBA in fintech, we have MBA in digital marketing. So a lot of post-graduation degrees now have a component of analytics in them that you can use. And plus, like I mentioned, you also have to do your own research. YouTube is full of information and content, but YouTube is not structured, so you don't know where to start. And that is where a formal degree helps you. So you have to do both. Start with a formal degree and then also substantiate it, support it with online resources. Foreign degrees is good. If you have the resources, you can go, but I would say a lot is happening in India also, which is cutting edge and good for good content.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this one is from Shalini, and you did cover this topic in the seminar itself, that how is AI essential in our lives? Do we use AI in our day-to-day lives too?
Yeah, so I covered that AI is the broad concept. The application part is machine learning, and we talked about the application of machine learning, everywhere. In the businesses, I gave you a lot of examples in the presentation.
Yes, ma'am, sure. Ma'am, this one question is that since we are developing in AI a lot, in such a way that humans' tasks is being replaced by robots, would that not decrease employment rate in future?
Who will build the robots? Who will maintain the robots? Who will
We
program?
humans only.
Of course. So when from the horse you came to from this horse there came steam engines. From steam engine you came to a motor vehicle, motor space in the starting of the 19th century, before the First World War. So you can, if you go and Google the pictures of 19th century, within 5 years, the roads which had horses on them were now replaced by cars. You know, so you can't say that people who were driving horses went out of employment. They now became car drivers, isn't it? So who will make the robots? It's just that a different kind of skill is required. You want to sit in the bank and do mint money and give money, or you want a ATM machine to do that so that you can do a higher level, more strategic kind of work in the bank, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. So that means our workload would be shifted from these tasks to building in robots as well.
Yes. So your skill level is different now. The only thing that is I see happening is that earlier the change, whatever happened over say 20 years or 30 years, is now happening in 3 to 4 years.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the rate of change is very fast. Change has always been there.
Definitely, ma'am. So, ma'am, what are the few most basic languages that are needed to be in this field, to be
Right.
good at this field?
Right. So, one is that you should understand data. So, to understand data, you can start with a bit of statistics and Excel. Use Excel and statistical language to understand how do you deal with data. And then the programming language to use would be Python.
Python, right?
So, you can start on your own also learning Python and understanding data. So, I would say you can start with Excel. You can put some, because conceptual understanding of statistics, how it happened, can start with Excel. Once you understand the concept.
Excel is in their syllabus. They do study.
Yes, yeah. So there you know how to handle data. And then you can go to Python after you graduate and learn Python and start.
Yes, ma'am. We have it as one of our optional subjects as well.
Yes.
Ma'am, statistical AI and classical AI. I've heard these terms quite a lot. What exactly do they mean?
Statistical AI and classical AI would be the same thing, which means that we are using statistics. But now from statistics, we moved on to machine learning. Statistics was the base, but statistics had some compulsions that it did not have a lot of data to experiment. It did not have computing power, and it had to make assumptions that the data is normally distributed, isn't it? But now in machine learning, we have computing power, we had huge amounts of data, so we don't have to make any assumptions. So we are going beyond statistics.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing all our questions and doubts. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rajni ma'am, Gitika ma'am.
Anvesha has raised her hand. Maybe she wants to. Can we take it?
Yes, ma'am, we can take it. Yes, Anvesha.
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, I'm from computer science field, and what I wanna ask is, like nowadays, we are implementing deep learning into so many things. So, what kind of researches are going on in this field? I mean, can you give a basic idea about that?
Right. Scientists thought that how are humans so smart? And AI is thought. The whole concept of AI is that machines should become as smart as human beings. So what they said is that why don't we look at the human brain and see how human brain functions? What are the neural network connections, and how does information get passed from one neuron to the other? So what they did is they made a structure that resembles our neurons, and they're passing information. They're passing it through mathematical formulae from one neuron to the other. Now, in our mind, there are trillions of neurons. So in deep learning, what happens? You have more layers of neurons, and you can now do very, very complicated mathematical constructions, because you can add on layers of neurons. If the problem is very complicated, add more layers of neurons. Computing is done by the computer. There's no problem of computing power. So you're able to solve a lot of difficult problems also. So for example, looking at face recognition or picture image recognition is difficult, because image has pixels, and each pixel has a minimum of 3 information: red, green and blue. So there's a lot of data happening in one picture, in one image, and to recognize the pattern of image. Now computer image is also been they are also able to recognize the tail of a dog, or like I showed you, whether the whole picture has pine trees, and there's one lady in pink, there are more men there, they're doing skiing, there's the white surface, there's snowing. So a lot, how is it able to find out these complex kind of things? Because of deep learning and neural networks. So extraordinary research is happening there. So a lot of complicated work can be taken care of by neural network and deep network. So you can go online and study and look at the recent developments that are happening.
Recently, I saw something that with the artificial limb also, the person could, feel hot and cold because of that sort of insertion into the system.
Right. In medicine also, and
And that was fantastic. For a layman like me, it was such a big thing.
Right.
And it made me so happy that we can have such type of feelings also being, given to the person who is not having.
Yeah.
And
And assisted living also, people who can't hear, they're getting assisted living, or they can hear now, they can see now by external equipments that I provided to them. So it's quite useful, although like you all posed a lot of very relevant questions, that there are challenges it's in its use, in bias, and in human rights and ethics. So that also needs to be addressed.
there is one movie on YouTube, Anubhav. I watched it, I think 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And that was creating a kind of fear in me. Like you don't know whether you are meeting a robot or a natural person.
Right. Absolutely. Ma'am, that's called the Turing test.
Listen, I think Alan Turing is the father of AI. No? There is a movie also on that. The imitation game is actually
Right, ma'am. Right. Absolutely. So it's very exciting.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ashwini has raised a hand. People are not, willing to leave you, Dr. Jyoti.
I'm happy
So,
to be of
Shiti,
service.
one last question we can take if Dr. Jyoti allows.
Yes, please, Ashiti.
Ashiti.
Ma'am, so you talked about super AI and then you talked about normal AI. So you said that as far as normal AI is concerned, we tried to map the human brain and see how the neural networks were working. So, to reach super AI, what will be our approach? Because obviously, if it has to be smarter than a human, we can't, build it based on the human neural networks. So, I mean, how are scientists imagine?
No, so the replication of neural networks, and I mentioned it in deep learning. So deep learning is a technique. Using deep learning, we can do narrow AI and advanced AI. We are not yet there. We cannot replicate. Human beings are very, very smart. It's very difficult to replicate. We are not looking there as yet. They're trying. Scientists are trying, but we're still at the weak AI stages. We've not even reached strong AI.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope I was able to answer all your questions. I tried my best.
Surely,
It was a fantastic presentation, ma'am. You handled the questions also in a very lucid manner. Let our student do the needful
Yes.
by giving formal vote of thanks. Geetika?
Yes, ma'am. Ayush. Ayush, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Ayush.
Yes. On behalf of Kaizen, the Career Counseling Club of PGTV College, I, Ayush, extend a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, ma'am, Dr. Jyoti, for taking out of the time for her busy schedule to grace the occasion. Today we had a wonderful opportunity to hear your thoughts about career opportunities in artificial intelligence, and this would surely be helpful in our future. Thanks, ma'am, for giving such a comprehensive and holistic answers to our questions of the student. It is a very beautiful and fantastic presentation by ma'am with very general examples on the perspective of artificial intelligence and also about the business application, natural language processing, NLP, and like jobs and career opportunities in AI. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and shown as a new path. Along with this, I also express my heartfelt thanks to the principal of our college, Professor Krishna ma'am, and our IQAC coordinator, Anu Kapoor ma'am, and our club convener, Dr. Rajni ma'am, for inviting Jyoti ma'am. I also extend my gratitude to all the speakers and audience for gracing the occasion and sharing their opinion today. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure to be here, and it was my pleasure to answer your questions today. Thank you very much for paying attention to what I said and giving your time in this seminar. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Gitika ma'am.
So many thanks messages in chat box.
Yes,
Students
ma'am.
are posting individually. That means a lot, and that shows how much they learned through your session.
Thank you.
Brilliant delivery. Once again, I need to say so because it was a brilliant delivery. Thanks once again, heartfelt thanks to you.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
thanks to the team, Kaizen and students team also for maintaining decorum in the house and being such attentive listener and making the maximum out of the brilliant delivery by ma'am. Thanks, and some students have posted that they wish to have you again.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
with us.
Definitely.
Ma'am, before that, if we could have a group photo with ma'am, that would be really great.
Yes.
Sure. All of us,
Yes, ma'am.
switch on
Please,
our cameras
yes,
for.
ma'am. Please switch on your cameras, everyone.
So let the better times come, and we have you. We have your physical presence in college with
Yes,
us.
of
Over a
course,
cup of
ma'am.
coffee.
It will be my pleasure.
Yes.
You send the photograph to me also.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
I'll put it on my LinkedIn.
Good.
Everyone, please switch on your cameras.
So nice to see all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a great session, ma'am. Thank you so much. Just a second, everyone, please. I'll just take a screenshot.
Rishika is president of Kaizen team.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a wonderful team this time.
Yes, ma'am, I can see that, and I can see your leadership also.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. The session was really insightful. I mean, all the confusions I personally had. For example, you mentioned AI is a concept and deep learning is a technique. So these small nuances you cleared for all of us. And lastly, you mentioned the opportunity. So I'm sure students can take a lot of cues,
Yeah.
whether they want to pursue the career opportunity.
Right.
And I'm sure if there's a brilliant opportunity, it's
And once from my discussion, if like you said, you've cleared some doubt, you now go online and read about it more, so
Yes,
that it's the clarity remains with you.
I do proper research, before choosing the resource persons to be invited.
Thank you, Rajni ma'am, for having me. Thank you, students, for your time.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you.
Loved the session a lot. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Rajni ma'am. Bye.
Thank you.